So we are keeping within the horizontal part of our event. So Pao talked about the policy context. Now we have our dear colleague Sylvain Robert at CINEA. He will talk more about us and how CINEA is supporting with the funds to make everything happen in terms of policy uptake. Sylvain, please, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Andrei. So indeed, this is a family I'm starting to know well. But for those of you who are not familiar with me, I'm a project advisor in CINEA, an executive agency of the Commission, and our job is basically to manage EU-funded project, and in our case, under the Life Clean Energy Transition Program. I'm here with my colleague Ulrike Nuscherer, who is also very much involved in this energy performance certification related activities. So for those of you who saw previous presentations that I did, I'm afraid it's going to be almost the same. I feel a bit like Sisyphus, except that instead of a rock, I'm doing all the time the same presentation again and again. That being said, we thought it could be useful to share with you some information about the breadth of the support that we're providing to energy performance certification projects. And with the next slide, yeah, I wish to show basically the different topics, the different calls that addressed along the last years and until now, energy performance certifications, starting with H2020, and then switching to this current MFF from 2021 with a split between the innovation actions, which are funded under Horizon, and the actions more related to policy support, market uptake, funded under Life Clean Energy Transition. I'm not going to detail the figures, but basically this is just to show that the support has been steady over the years. And well, we can assume that given especially the central role of EPCs under the recast, this support is likely to continue. Next slide, please. So you know better than I do which projects have been funded on EPCs because you are their representatives, and these are all these projects represented on this beautiful poster. But this is really a nice mix of projects addressing technologies, tools, addressing training, addressing the methodology for calculating energy performance, and also with the fact that these projects have been funded across the year, meaning that they are at different stages of development, of maturation, and therefore they bring different perspectives on energy performance certification. Just to mention that also, though it's not directly related to policy implementation activities on EPCs, we have projects on data that have a close link, especially when it comes to collecting data on buildings' energy performance. And we also manage the development of the EU Building Stock Observatory with DG Energy, which is a tool to collect and make available buildings data across the EU. And we see that there are interconnections between EPC-related actions and those focusing on data. For 2023 and 2024, I mean, for 2023, we know, and some of you know which projects have been funded. And we know that there will be some activities on EPCs, but of course, at this stage, given that the projects have not been signed, the grant agreements, we cannot share detailed information. Next slide, please. So I was mentioning the range of activities covered by the project. It's quite broad. There's, of course, policy support, policy dialogue, recommendations at EU level, but also at national level when it applies at regional level. Methods, improving the accuracy and reliability of calculation, expanding the scope. Pao has shown that actually the EPBD is gradually expanding its scope, for instance, including a part on embodied carbon now, capacity building, market uptake, tools, of course, for calculation of energy performance, but also for linking to digital modeling, building information modeling, and then smarter capabilities, trying to imagine, trying to investigate what the future of energy performance assessment could be. Next slide. So I was mentioning that the support provided to EPCs is continuing, and here I wish to flag a particular element of the call 2024 under Life Clean Energy Transition. There is a topic that is called Better Reno, and it's basically another iteration of a topic that was published last year. And there is a scope on buildings, energy data and services under which there is a specific item on energy performance certification. So the timeline, I mean, the timing for you, if you are interested in submitting a proposal, is really good because the call actually has just opened and you have until 19 September to prepare and submit a proposal. And I realized there is a mistake on the funding. It's 6 million funding actually, not 11 million. 11 million was last year. Next slide. Okay, so here we are in a conference that is supported by a cluster of EPC projects, which is a cluster that is self-created and self-managed. So created by the projects, for the projects, and managed, operated by the project, which is really an excellent initiative that we appreciate both in the agency and in the GNR. We have another cluster that is connected because some of the projects deal with energy performance certification and smart readiness indicator. And so I wish here to mention that there is a clustering initiative on the smart readiness indicator that we, the agency, are directly managing in coordination with DG Energy. So it involves at first 4 projects that were funded under the 2021 call and that are specifically dedicated to supporting the uptake of the smart readiness indicator. But this cluster also involved 3 projects which are dealing with energy performance certification and the smart readiness indicator. Next slide. So what I just mentioned that this cluster is organized around 4 core action areas, which are the uptake in the countries, in the EU countries, and the liaison with authorities. And here we've had very good results because the smart readiness indicator is tested in 13 member states currently. And among those member states, 9 are directly supported by the projects. And actually, the fact that the projects could help has convinced some authorities to join this move. Then design and development of SRI tools, trying to ensure that the tools are interoperable. Working on a common API, this kind of things. Then improvement of the smart ready service catalog, standardization, and common communication and dissemination action. This cluster is actually now part of the Smart Readiness Indicator platform, which is a platform managed directly by DG Energy that involves representatives of the national authorities, that involves the EU-funded project under Life Clean Energy Transition, and that involves the stakeholders. So this is a very nice setup and very effective in order to make sure that all the components work together in ensuring a successful uptake of the instrument. And voila, so just to mention this because, well, it could give some inspiration for other areas of action. And I think that was the last slide, unless I'm wrong. Yes, so with this, thanks a lot for your attention.